How? I clapped my hands. How are you still alive?
It's a baseball for breakfast edition of Card Central 365 and 11:35 game, Central game today in Pittsburgh. And well, since the Cardinals haven't scored any runs, I figured I would bring Matt Rocchio in because he is so used to doing our city post-game shows that he's used to teams that don't score ever.
Nicely played. When you started that, I was like, where is he going that one? But I tell you what, you got on the freeway and drove 80 right down the stretch on that one. That was well played.
You do a 70-minute post-game show for a 1-0 soccer game. So I figured I haven't looked at what the time was for the post-game show of a 1-0 baseball game last night that you and Sarah did. But I would imagine 90 minutes at minimum, probably. Am I right?
Samuel out, yes. Yes, 90 minutes at minimum. We had a lot of fun last night because Cardinals fans are taking these one game at a time losses really in stride.
Okay.
Really not letting themselves get too over their skis on the reactions after these bad one games. It was bad, but it was bad in a completely different way from Monday, because in Monday, just the offense doesn't show up at all.
Right.
In this way, you actually get 7 hits. You leave 10 runners on base. You go 1 for 12 or 1 for 13. I keep forgetting. With runners in scoring position, you run into multiple outs. You get an unfavorable call at home plate. A lot of bad moments. Obviously, you lose potentially Wilson Contreras, not for a long period of time, but at least for today. We'll get into the lineup a little bit here in a moment. But yeah, just a bad day for the Cardinals. And now you've already lost the series, and you never like to be in a spot when you're facing a team that's 14 games below 500, and you're just like, can we salvage one?
The frustrating thing to me about this is going into this 6-game stretch. Now, I remember last week or going into the weekend kind of looking at the schedule and looking at what was ahead, and the Cardinals were on that nice little run. And you're like, okay, hey, there's a possibility that the Cardinals could be 10 games over 500 going into the series in Chicago. And it was a big ask because at the time it was like, okay, 5-1 would have gotten you to 10 games over 500. And at the time too, looking at the Pirates, you said, okay, the Pirates are slowly falling into that territory where with the White Sox, with the Rockies, with maybe the Athletics, where it's like, hey, we're not looking to win series, we're looking to sweep series. And then you go into Cleveland and you sweep the Guardians. And I think justifying asking for a 5-1, 6-game stretch, that looked good. At the moment, like you're like, oh, wow, we just took 3 against the Guardians. This is a must sweep series against the Pirates. Hey, 5-1, they got it. Going against Paul Skeens, that's a guaranteed win. So you're not going to lose that game. And then they
do.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. The factor of wasting that kind of Andre Palante start is a negative. I think maybe we should look on the bright side of things, which is that the Cardinals are back to having 3 out of 5 starters that we're confident in instead of 2 out of 5, which is where I was sitting about a week ago when Fedde was struggling, Michaelis was struggling, and Palante was struggling. So for Palante to come out there, that was huge from him in that game. And so, I want to kind of focus on some positives there. Sorry, I'm about to get Jeb Bushed here with a fly. And I would like to, it's going to bother me the entire show. I would like to, it is actively fighting a war against me at this point. Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner on this damn fly right now. What was I saying? Yeah, win some games. It's crappy, but you always have to factor in what they've lost. And this is what pissed a lot of fans off yesterday when I brought it up, but I'll mention it again. Noah Von Herrera, the fact that as the lineup it shows today, the fact that Jordan Walker is missing out on chances that he could have been getting is very disappointing. Like, there's other bigger things in the big scheme that I'm thinking about after yesterday's game, even going into today's game, than just dropping a couple crappy games against the Pirates. This team fought through a rough June and still came out with more games above 500 than they went in. And that's a positive, and that's what I'm rolling with right now.
Yeah. So we'll get the we'll get the lineup for you in just a bit. You are watching Card Central 365, powered by Gray Bar. If you're still suffering from supply chain issues and they're disrupting your operations, have no fear. Gray Bar has you covered. Visit graybar.com to start an order today. That's graybar.com, and fix those supply chain issues with Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. The Cardinals line up today as they go against Mitch Keller, who is 2-10 with an ERA under 4, is really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
10 losses in the first half of the season with an ERA under 4 is, I don't think people understand just how much of a struggle. I mean, how really impossible that is to pull off, but they are. The Pirates are doing that with Mitch Keller and kind of wasting a lot of good starts out of it.
I literally just try to get people on a positive thing, and you're just turning the knife on losing 2 games to them.
Well, no, I'm just talking about Mitch Keller's stats. I'm not talking about the overall Cardinals. I mean, Sonny Gray with a 3.36 ERA, 8-2 on the season. And when you go 2 games, when you lose 2 games in a row to the Pirates, you want your stopper to be out there, and that's Sonny Gray. But
I would have rather had him back one day every
Yeah.
time and against the Cubs and so on and so forth.
But Sonny Gray, since 2021, Sonny Gray is not going to be able to help you at the plate. I don't think he would have back then either, but he's not hitting for you, and that's what the Cardinals need today. And here's the lineup that they're going to go with this afternoon at PNC Park. Brendan Donovan leads off and plays second. Mason wins at short. Alec Burleson at first. Nolan Gorman DHs. Lars Nootbaar in left. Thomas Sajaci at third. Jose Fermin in right. Pedro Pages behind the plate. And Victor Scott II is in center field. So 5 lefties. Do I have that right? 1, 2, 3, 4 lefties in the lineup today. No, yes. 5 lefties. I was missing Don. It was
5.
Yeah, 5.
The big thing though is the 3 lefties back to back to back. Burleson third, Gorman fourth, Nootbaar fifth.
Yeah, no Nolan Arenado, no Wilson Contreras in the lineup. The second time I feel like in about a week that they have gone with no Arenado, no Contreras. The last one, if you remember, was that Reds game. I think it was that Friday night's Reds game where they just kind of, where Ollie was like, we're just, trying to get to Saturday. We just we're giving them the night off. And then that was Palante goes out and throws a gem on a Friday night against the Reds, and they win that game. So
I'd much rather have this lineup. Even without Contreras, just getting Sajacian's big for me. Letting Nolan Gorman DH. I like the construction of this lineup a little bit better than yesterday's, but it is kind of weird. We were talking about this last night with Sarah, that they are kind of dealing with an overall injured roster now, but they still kind of have a weird thing where they have to move people around to play everybody that they want to play right now. And I just can't. The Jordan Walker thing is just so crappy. The timing is so off and everything like that. And obviously injuries to Wilson Contreras, injuries to, or I guess not an injury, but a knock, I guess, to Nolan Arenado. Those are problematic. But I worry a lot less about veterans and the run of those guys' careers with this Cardinals team than a young guy who. He needs every possible at bat. He needs every chance to get right and get some confidence going. And he's not going to get that, making a trip to Pittsburgh and then immediately going right back down for a rehab start.
Yeah. So that's what the Cardinals will throw out there today. No Pirates lineup as of yet. Let's see what they're going to throw out there against Sonny Gray at the moment. But as you mentioned there, though, it's the 3 lefties in a row. That's kind of shows you. I mean, it does show what Ollie has at hand, because that is something that he would normally never ever do.
No, and looking at Mitch Keller, by the way, if you remember, Mitch Keller absolutely torched the Cardinals in early on in the season. But the Cardinals did come back over the top and beat the living daylights out of him in mid-May in a 5-0 victory. Interesting, though, Thomas Sajaci in that loss to Mitch Keller was one of the few Cardinals who actually got a hit in that game. He went 1 for 3 against Keller early in the season when he had that little run when he was hitting 400. So I like seeing Sajaci in the lineup. Obviously, I like the 3 lefties back-to-back. Gorman, Newtbar. I mean, these lefties keep hitting, especially against a righty like this, and it gives you a chance until Ivan Herrera comes back. And at this point, that's the next kind of marker on this team is when Ivan Herrera comes back, can the offense get some balance and rounding out to it?
Well, if you think the Cardinals are going to finally score a run today against an NL Central opponent, 4 straight games now without doing so, maybe jump on DraftKings Pick 6 app and load up on some of those Cardinals, especially some of those Cardinal lefties, and hit that higher button. Or if you have just zero confidence and you think they're going to be shut out again, maybe go the opposite route. But you can download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers. To play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
And no, as you look at what the lineup is for today, and you kind of realize what they have at hand right now. I mean, we talked about it before this series, not having Herrera, not having Walker. They're going to struggle a whole lot against lefties. And now you add into the mix, no Contreras, no Arenado. The Cubs right now, I just went and looked. The Cubs right now have not listed any starters for the upcoming series.
Okay.
If you're the Cubs, you're trying to kind of load up on a lot of those, right?
Yeah, I think you would be kind of planning it out. I hate when other teams get a chance to prepare for the series in a much better way than you did. There was kind of this same thing where the Cardinals weren't able to prepare their bullpen going into the previous Cubs series, and they were able to get a split there. So I'm trying to stay positive and keep giving the benefit of the doubt to a team that has proven us that they can keep fighting. We're just seeing them at the most injured they have been the entire season. And that has always been a caveat that we've thrown out when we talk about this team is a lot of this success is because they are so uninjured and they're getting very lucky. And yes, I think this is exactly kind of in line with what we were saying. We were all predicting 3 or 4 games over 500, and they're 8, 9 games above 500 because they're playing above what we expected, and partially, and a lot of main reason is that no one's been injured, and that's why I'm confused why there are some fans who are still getting angry about these 1 or 2 game slip ups when you know that at least they've proven it for the first 3 months. They might slip up 2 games, but that usually means they're going to win 3 out of the next 5 out of the next 6.
Tonight would be, or this afternoon, or I guess this morning with the AM start time here in St. Louis. It would be a good start to get a win, take a day off tomorrow, hit the reset button, and then head to Chicago for a 3-game series.
Is Pittsburgh East Coast time?
Yes.
It's Pennsylvania. That makes sense. Okay, we're good. For a second, I was like, wait a second. I always think of Pittsburgh as so Midwestern. They got that, like, they get the steel town, the Midwestern grit to it.
Right.
It goes into the Eastern time zone. It always throws me off. I never think about where the time zones actually change. It's just one of the things where I was just like, yeah, okay, I guess it makes sense. It's in the Eastern time zone. That makes sense.
Matt Rocchio, Randy Carricker coming your way at 10 o'clock. Randy has about 20 minutes now to get a map and be able to point out where time zones and where states are.
I'll give you a fun time zone fact. Did you know that right now there's somebody in a part of Florida who's only one hour ahead of somebody in a part of Oregon? Because there's a part of Oregon that's mountain time. There's a part of Florida that's central time.
Okay.
So there, I got a little time zone math. Excuse me for screwing up. Yeah, I knew it in my head, but it's one of those ones that always surprises me. I always screw up like where it splits in like Tennessee, because I know it's like halfway through Tennessee it flips over, doesn't it?
I couldn't tell you that.
See, now you want to get all uppity about knowing your time zone maps.
I know where Pennsylvania is.
Right, yeah. You get into Georgia, it changes over to east according to Randy Carricker. All right, got it.
Yeah. That's
don't usually get you with these very often.
I'm speechless.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. I
I
don't get this very often.
These Cardinal losses have all of us looking and acting stupid. Yeah, that would be correct. Did you take geography in high school?
Yeah, I know.
What high school did you go to, Rock?
CBC.
Right,
I know where Pittsburgh is, but it just
not
I'm
a
always
great
like
showing
I'm always
for
like, oh yeah.
not a great showing for cadets everywhere.
I literally
this
had a
morning.
geography fact right in my back pocket on the back side of that one. I'll screw something up, but I always got something ready for you.
Sonny
Geography
Gray.
facts. Get outta
Sonny
here.
Gray goes against Mitch Keller today. Pirates lineup is out as well. Spencer Horwitz, he is at first base. Andrew McCutchen DHs. Brian Reynolds in right field. Nick Gonzalez at second. O'Neal Cruz in center. Cabrian Hayes at third. Tommy Pham left. Henry Davis is behind the plate. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is at short.
All I have to say about the Pirates lineup is maybe don't test Tommy Pham left. Maybe stop doing that this year.
Yeah, you would think that they would know what that arm was like, but I do against Paul Skeens. I say test it.
Yeah,
I think
that's what's very
against Paul Skeens. You are trying to just get any kind of run ahead, so that's why I wasn't upset. I was not as upset about that one as I was of the April send.
Well, while we talk about manufacturing runs, just one little thing yesterday. Were you mad or surprised that they didn't try to squeeze the run across with a bunt with a man on third? Because people were mad about that, and I'm like, this team sucks at bunting.
That was gonna say they tried bunting earlier in the game, and Fermin popped it up. So
this team sucks at bunting.
I think it's one of those instances where yes, ideally you want to do that, but how much more frustration can Ollie have in that situation where he sits there? He's like, we tried this once, they didn't get it done. I'm not putting myself through this again for a second time. You know, we're just going to try to hit him in. So I think that's the thinking there. Also,
one last thing. I did not take a geography class in high school. That was never a like full on class for social studies or history. I feel like it was like Western Civ, U.S. history. And I don't think we ever had a geography class. So no, I did not take one in high school. Sorry.
This is not a great advertisement for CBC at the show.
I never have been.
Yeah. He's Matt Rocchio. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been another edition of Card Central 365 here on STL Sports Central. All content brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours.